Good morning everyone, it's Anna Wheaton here from Nudge Nudge Ink. I'm showing you a card today using the Everyday Details dies and the split circle technique. This is a really cool technique that looks kind of tricky and difficult, but it's not. So I wanted to try it with these dies because these dies will cut your circle and also these holes, and I just thought I'd like to give that a go. So from this set of dies, I used all 4 of the circles. So 3 of them cut the holes. The last one, because it's so small, it just has sort of a stitched outline. Let me just show you this die because it looks a little bit different to the other ones. As you can see, it's got a line in the middle. Now what this does is that line is the cutting edge. All right, so you can see that it's on the outside of these ones, but in the middle of this one. So all that means is that that is going to be the size of your circle. Those are going to be the holes in your circle, but these are holes that will be cut in the piece of paper or cardstock that you cut it out of. So I'll show you what I mean. I want that circle, but in using that die, it does this. So it cuts between 2 rows of holes. So that means I have this piece that I can use somewhere else that has the negative of the circle and the holes around it. So that's just something to keep in mind. You might deliberately cut that out and even it or place it evenly within a square in order to have that piece left over. Alrighty, so that's how that works. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I have cut using the Perennial Lavender paper. So I've got 4 circles like so, and I've deliberately gone colour, pattern, colour, colour, and you'll see why. That's sort of a pattern one also really, but I've alternated. I'll explain it to you. Now I'll show you the card that we're making. Put those to the side. So here it is. So it just has a little bit of extra. You can do this with plain circles, but a little bit extra because you've got those holes from the Everyday Details dies. So you want 4 circles. I'll show you what it looks like with 3. In just a moment, and you want your trimmer. So 4 circles, large to small, and then you want to cut them in half. Okay, now you could measure this if you wanted to. I tend to eyeball. The first one's the trickiest one, but you just want to get a bit of a halfway point, and because we've got the holes in it, that makes it fairly easy too. You just want to cut between the holes. So if I put that down, I can actually see out either side. That's better. And I'm just going to swivel it. Like I said, you can measure if you wish. All right, cut that in half. Let's see how well I did. Oh, a little bit short, but that's okay. I did the other one very well. Okay, now it gets easier because you can line up with the measurements on either side. Three and a bit, 3 and a bit. So see, I'm getting it even between those lines. Then the next one, again, I can line up. That first one being a little even will not matter. You will see. You'll also find if you bring this circle right up to the top of your trimmer, see if you down here you can't line it up with any numbers, but if I get to the top, I can. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to bring those back in, and what we're going to do is layer them like this, and we do exactly the same thing. All right, so they both, just line them up side by side, and they both all stack up on the right. You could do it on the left, but as long as you just do the same thing with all of them. Little bit of Tombow glue. Now, anytime you have a die that has holes in it, just make sure you don't get too close to the holes with your liquid glue, because that leads to oozing possibilities. You can do this with your seal. If you wish. The great thing about the Tombow is the wiggle room. You've got a chance to just wiggle things around to line them up. So see, I can even almost line up those holes. Not that it matters, that's going to be covered in the end. So two, exactly the same here. If you have punches in 4 different sizes, you could use those. Oh, now I did say I'd show you with 3. So if I left that off, you could do it with 3, okay? I just chose to go with another one. So you can just experiment with the idea. All right, there we go. To the same, I'm just going to come in and press them again to allow that glue to cling, which it does pretty quickly. Alrighty, that's Tombow allows you wiggle room, but it also doesn't take forever to dry. Okay, now we're going to stick these onto our panel. So I have 2 pieces here. One is my card base. All right, so this is working in metric. This is half an A4 piece folded in half. And what I end up with is 14.8 in this direction, 10.5 in this direction. 14.8 by 10.5. So what I've done with this piece is I've gone down by half a centimetre. So this is 14.3 by 10. 14.3 by 10 then sits on there with a little border all the way around. Okay. So a little bit of Tombow to stick that in place. Now again, if you have trouble lining things up, you could measure, or you can even just grab a piece of grid paper. We don't sell this small grid paper anymore. Put your piece of cardstock straight on that, and then just choose a line to line up with. There we go. And here's the other one. Now, what happens is you'll see with this particular effect how, you see that one just swoops and is continuous through the middle. Now, don't worry about your join. And you don't have to worry that that doesn't line up perfectly. It's going to be fine. Because what we will do is grab a sentiment. So I have stamped in Versamark and then used my white embossing powder to create my sentiment. And it's going to go across there. But what I'm going to do is just trim that down a little bit. I had an idea, I'm just checking that straight because the shadows of the light are playing tricks on me. I had an idea what you could do too is grab one of these big circles and just line it up and just trim it to match the circle. But I'm just going to go beyond it. Okay, that is straight. It just looks wonky from the shadow of the light. It's early morning here, and it's just been raining all night, and it's a bit, it's raining now. So it's a bit gloomy outside. I'm not getting the beautiful natural light that I usually get. So again, I've got wiggle room to just line that up, which I can also check on my grid paper. Give it a few presses, put my glue away, give it another press. And then I can adhere this. Usually when I use my seal, I just do 2 lines down the longest 2 sides. Some people might do, if I've got wrinkly, like if I've done watercoloring or something and the paper is wrinkly, I might do all 4 sides, but I generally find a nice flat piece of paper, the 2 long sides is fine. That, I didn't tell you, that greeting is from Go To Greetings, which is a great set just with standard greetings in different sizes and different fonts. So it's a really handy one to have. All right, and we want to bring in some bling. These are our Purple Fine Shimmer Gems, which are in the mini catalogue. Looking for my Take Your Pick tool, which I have put away tidily. Oh, can't find it. Okay, I'll use a pokey tool. I'm going to use 2 on this one, 2 of the small ones. These are really, hang on, I'll stick that on. These are really interesting, these gems. I don't know if you can see it. They've sort of got almost like a little sort of a plaid pattern on them, a sort of a crisscross. And they go with your purples, and then that's our Berry Burst colour. So very useful. There you go. So there you have it. 2 cards using that split circle technique. You could, of course, do this, as I said, with plain circles. And then, of course, you could do it with plain colours. You could do it with black and white, black and red, all sorts of combos like that. But pretty quick to put together and pretty impressive. So I hope you find that helpful, and I hope you'll give that technique a go. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, and I'd love a comment. Thank you. Bye.